Hello everyone, good evening.
I
Okay. So have you started risk management? Have you created risk or risk assessment? Any doubt in this section? Hmm? No doubts?
so of now nothing.
Okay. So we'll start. Okay. I'll quickly create one more example just for the revision because yesterday I was on leave. Okay. So to create your risk management, risk assessment, whatever is related to like your environment, your health, or safety, or job hazard analysis, you will use this particular app, that is Manage Risk Assessment Project, where we can see different types of risk assessment. We can create our own custom risk assessment scenarios also. These are the subdivisions. So environment we have already seen. Environment, health and safety are same scenarios. There is no as such difference in the screen or in the process. Still we'll create one more example just for the revision. So for example, the health one. If you see this screen, this is also similar to your environment, where you will mention why you are creating, what is the need, what is the risk assessment is about, whosoever is the team member, and what all regulations you are using. Okay. Regulation. This regulation can be customized as per your organization. Assessment team member, whatever are your roles in your organization, that also you can add it in the list. So select the same ID which you are using so that you get the notifications. Okay, assessment reason. What is the reason? If it is an incident, then you have to add the reference number also. So whatever incident we have created till now in this particular system, all the incidents will be available. And if you are like, if you want to be very specific, if you know the ID number, the plant ID or status, you can filter out as per the advanced search, or you can click on go. So obviously in your client system you will know for which incident you are creating, so you can just simply enter your ID number over here. Okay, and the remark why you are creating this risk assessment. Save it. The status is new. Now it is in process. Okay. Next, can you guide me with the next step? Any one of you? Hmm? Do you remember the next step?
The man is
Which one? So next step is that we need to create risk, identify risk. This we have seen. Okay, so the app which is required is identify risk. So that day I explained what are the errors you can receive if you don't select the same risk as per your risk assessment. So those were errors. So we'll simply create one correct example. Okay, let me go back. Okay, let me just search it. Okay, we have this. Okay, I'll set this as my location. Let me refresh it. Okay. If you want to see all the locations, you can go for the locations, or you can select the one which you have set as your location. Okay, so I'll select the same one. Where is that? Okay, Newland. Something is wrong with this app. Click on create. Select your hazards. And that will be related to your health scenario, because we have created one risk assessment related to health. So maybe awkward posture. Okay, now select. Let it load. It's not working. Okay. Okay. So this is your risk related to whatever hazard you have selected. So you need to make sure you select the same hazard which is related to your risk assessment. Otherwise, that will pop up your error. Okay. Select the levels. These are your initial level. Okay. And select the control. If there are any controls in the list, this is how it will populate. Otherwise, you will see no data. And the impacts. So impacts and controls are related to your hazards. Every time whenever you select any other hazard, these will be different list. This different list will appear over here. Okay, so you have two ways of assigning your risk to your risk assessment. One is this one and one is another app. So we'll do it from here itself. Okay, so that is assigned. Now go back to your risk management project app, and this is the risk assessment. I hope everyone has tried till here and there is no doubt. If you have, please ask me. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. No doubt till here? Have you tried creating it or didn't got time?
Done, no doubt.
Fine. So whatever risk we have created, that will be assigned over here. Okay, if you see, the risk type is your initial risk. So we have different types of risk over here. First is your initial risk. Second is your inherent risk. Third is your residual risk. So whenever you create your risk assessment, you have to do the assessment related to these risk type. Okay, so initial risk is the one which you are creating in the which you are identifying while like giving all the initial values, the level of your risk or your controls or your impacts, whatever we are identifying, those are your initial risk. Now after doing the initial risk, after assigning the specifying the initial risk, you have to evaluate how risky that is, what is the level of the risk, whether it is acceptable or not, what is the evaluation value, and on the basis of your analysis you will decide the inherent risk and the residual risk. So inherent risk are those risks which are calculated in the absence of control, before the controls are applied, that is the existing controls are applied, because those are defined like for example, the financial statement. I can give example of financial statement where you cannot apply any controls. There is no control. The error can occur anytime. Okay, so those will come under your inherent risk, where no controls can be applied, but that can be calculated. So those will come under your inherent risk. Now, after doing analysis, after applying new controls, new measures, if you find that your initial risk is not acceptable, then that whatever the risk will come, that will come under your residual risk. The remaining risk after applying the new controls, new measures, those will come under your residual risk. So these are the three types of risk which while doing the assessment you will evaluate it, you will do your analysis, and the evaluation value will come. Okay. First, whatever we have identified in the identify app, that is your initial risk and the level will be defined over here. Now, whenever you want to do the assessment, there can be multiple risk. We can assign 5, 6, 7, whatever it is. Okay, now I want to do the risk assessment for this one. So click on this radio button, a panel will appear over here. And if whatever, like how many, for example, I've added 5 risk. So for each and every risk, I have to do the assessment. It's not that I have done for one and it's completed. If I've added 2 more, then I have to do for those also. Okay, so we have some assessment steps over here. So the first step is we have around I guess seven steps are there. 6 steps. One is your review summary. So the first step is review and edit basic information. So whatever impacts you have selected while identifying, that will be available over here. And if you think that that impact is not enough, while doing the analysis you found that those other impacts are also there, then you can simply edit it, and whatever is there in the list you can select it. Okay. Regulation, if you want to add more regulation over here, you can add it over here. Second step is inherent risk. So as I mentioned that this particular risk type is calculated before your existing controls. So these are the steps, like Third one is your existing control. Before that, I am going to calculate my inherent risk, because in this risk, no controls are applied. We cannot measure this risk with the controls. Okay. So we have a matrix over here. Okay. This matrix is predefined in the system. These are your likelihood values. These are your severity values. It depends on your client what values, what name they want, what severity name they want. It depends. Okay, so now these are my likelihood values, where I have to specify my likelihood values, and over here I'll specify my severity. So can you tell me how you calculate your risk level or risk value in the core? What is the concept of calculating?
Depending on the likelihood and its severity.
So that is a manual process which you do in your core.
We do have a matrix kind like
This
this. So pressing on it. Yeah, not exactly this one, uh, but we have different metrics.
Okay, so what happens over here, you just have to give the values. Like for example, if I select the likelihood value, the possible, that is 3, or maybe the severity level is low, and that is the 3 one. Okay, and severity I'll select maybe 3. Okay, so the value is calculated automatically, that is 9 over here, and the level is also decided, that is medium over here, and the evaluation value is also calculated on the basis of these two. Whenever you select the likelihood, automatically the description will appear over here, and same for the severity. Why these are coming automatically? Because we have set up the system like this. This can be changed in the backend system in the SPRO. Okay, you can change it, like whatever description you want for the possible, moderate, anything that can be changed. Now how the system is calculating, I have selected likelihood as 3 and the moderate as 3. So 3 into 3 is 9. That you know in your core also. Like whatever will come under this green, that will be the low level. Okay. If something comes under this yellow or whatever we call it orange, then that will come under the medium. If something comes under your red, that will be your high. For example, if I select the likelihood as 4 and severity as 4, so 4 into 4 will be 16. So my level risk value will be 4 and level will be high. As per my level, automatically the system will calculate the evaluation value. So what we are doing over here, we are doing two steps over here. One is your analysis, second is your evaluation. Okay, together for each and every risk type we are doing that. Same goes for yellow one also. If I select this 9 as my risk value, or maybe 12 as my risk value, then that will be medium. Okay, if I select 4 as my risk value, that will be low. And whenever it is low, the evaluation value will be acceptable. Whenever it is medium, the evaluation value will be uncertain. Whenever it is high, the evaluation value will be unacceptable. So this is how the system is calculating the evaluation value and your analysis value, that is the risk value and the level. Now how we are setting this everything in the system, that we will see later on, but right now this is the theoretical part, how the system is behaving, what exactly we are doing over here, the process. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes.
So now my evaluation value is uncertain, and the evaluation description which we have given in the system is risk should be reduced further if possible. Okay, that means we need to do something for this. Now, every time whenever you complete your risk as matrix and all whatever it is, then you have to mark it as completed. Next step is, then this completion tick mark will also appear over here. Next is your existing controls. So existing controls are those controls which you have applied while identifying your risk. When initially you have applied, those are your existing controls. Okay. Now if I think that apart from this control, there were some other controls also which we were using. Then I can add it from the list, add existing control, and I can add it from the list. But the part over here, you have to understand that that should be there in the list. This list should be maintained properly. Okay, for example, I use this one. Okay, so these are two existing control. Now for each and every control, you can maintain some more information like what are the control details, who are responsible for this control, any linked object, like for example, material, equipment, function, location, anything. Okay, this data is also maintained in the backend. What are the control goals, why we are using it, what exactly we need to achieve it, what is the target, what are the desired effects. Okay, that also, this data also you can maintain in the backend system. Waste reduction or low severity desired, why we are using it. Our goal is to make the severity level low. Control effectiveness. Okay, that data also you can edit it over here. If there is any task for this particular control, then you can create that also. This task is related to this particular control, and this task is related to this risk assessment. So there are different tasks you can create for each and every activity. So for each and every control, you have to maintain these data. For the existing one I'm talking about. Okay, once that is done, you can mark it as completed. Next is your initial risk, which we have already decided that that is low when we were identifying. So we have to make sure that whatever value we are updating over here is in sync with this level, which we have decided while identifying. Okay, the evaluation value will be calculated as soon as I give these values. You can directly click on the button also, and you can just select it from here itself also. That will work. Okay, so that is completed. Now, if for example your level is not acceptable, or maybe let me write it as uncertain. So uncertain, then what you will do, you will apply some new controls, because this is not acceptable. This is something which can harm my workers, environment, or whatever health scenario we have created. So obviously I need to apply some new controls. The previous one which we were using are not working fine. So I have to define some new controls. So that is the node over here. So for that also, you have to make sure that that particular list where we were selecting the existing one, that is maintained properly, because from that list only you will select the new controls. Now if you see over here, that existing control button is disabled and new control button is enabled. Okay, so select it, same list will appear. If you try to add the existing one, for example this one, this is already there, this is already there. So what happens? So system will throw you error that this is already added. You cannot add it because this is existing one. The initially what all controls you are using, those are already added. You have to add the new one from the list, which is not there in the third section. So maybe this one, like this, you can add it. So those with the status will come over here as in process. And if you have noticed, for this one, when I was going to this section, this was existing one, because existing means that we are currently using this, and the new control, in the new control the status will come as in process. That means we are about to implement these control, but we have not yet started with these controls. Okay, now for each and every control, again you have to fill some data, same data for the one you have filled for the existing one. Once everything is maintained, then you will make sure in your organization that these controls are available, these measures are available for each and every employees, and wherever it is needs to be applied, there you have applied it. Once you are done with it, once the responsible person has completed that part, then you will come into the system, whosoever is responsible, and set this control as implemented. Okay, so I won't fill each and every information. you can just implement it. Once that is implemented, the status will change into implemented. Okay, so we have in process, existing, and implemented over here. The one which is not implemented, that will stay in process, and you have to make sure that those are done in your organization, implemented in your organization. So once these are done, you can mark it as completed. After applying some new controls, after doing your analysis offline in your organization, then you will calculate the remaining risk. If there are any remaining risk left after applying some new controls, new measures, still there are risks which cannot be like controlled. You cannot apply any new controls beyond that. For example, if someone is working in a mine and he has weared a face shield, then beyond that I don't think there is any other control, because he cannot breathe if he apply some other control. So those will come under your residual risk. So that you have to calculate it over here as per your analysis. So how these values are coming, that is the part which end users will take care. You just have to make sure as a functional you understand the process, and you know how these values are coming from the backend, whether these values are updating properly, populating over here or not. Whatever they are doing offline, that is not your deal, though you know that, but as a function you don't have to worry about it, because you will never do these activities as a IT consultant. So once you have defined the new controls, you will come over here and define the residual risk, whatever is there, whether it is low, medium, high, whatever it is, as per the likelihood and severity, whatever analysis that person, whosoever is responsible, has done. Once these are done, then you can go to the review and summary. Okay, let me mark it as completed. In this review and summary, you will see all the details which you have filled till now, your initial risk, your inherent risk, residual risk, what are the level, severity level, everything, and what all controls you have used, the existing one, in process, and the implemented. Okay, if I would have mentioned the responsible person name, that person name will also come over here. So this is your review and summary. Let me just maintain this ID also over here. Okay, so once your assessment is done, now if you have any other risk, then you can go for those assessments also. If only one risk, then you don't have to go for the assessment. You just have to fill the documentation if there are any, or the task needs to be completed. If no, then you can go for the basic information and go for the approval process. So over here, these are the config roles. These are not your security roles. I've added a person over here and the role over here. Like this is the participants, or this is the lead, or whatever role this person is doing. Okay, you can just check this box and start the approval. The moment you start the approval, then it will be requested over here. Okay, you cannot close your risk assessment. So we have one error over here, that cannot close risk assessment. First complete all the open approvals. So without the approvals, we cannot close once we have started the approval. Okay, same way in your My Inbox, you will receive the notification. So this is how the notification looks like for your risk management. Now in this notification is little different from your incident. You don't have the open task over here. You have approve or reject. that person who will get the notification, he will directly approve and reject over here itself. Now if you wants to see all those information inside that risk management, then he will go to that particular app, that is manage risk assessment project, the first app which we have used. Okay, this particular app, he will open this and he will check what all details are there, and in the my inbox he will complete his approval process by approving or rejecting. Okay, so we cannot have multiple approvals, because the approval process is starting from here, not from the managed location. Okay, if you are mentioning the like role over here, any other role, that person will also receive that role. So 2-3 approvals you can mention over here. Okay, this is approved. Let me refresh it. Okay, now once you have approved, then the approval process will change into your approved status, not in the requested status, and the date will also appear. Now you can close your risk management over here. Whatever risk assessment you have done, you can mark it as closed. The moment you mark it as closed, it will be in the closed status and everything will be disabled. You cannot do any editing over here. The way we were doing in incident, we were reopening it. That is not possible in your risk assessment topic. So this is the complete hands-on for the end users, how the end users will create the risk assessment, identify risk, how they are going to link those together, and what all assessment steps are there. Now tell me if you have any doubt in this process.
Monica.
Hmm.
So actually, let me give you example like I want to conduct a risk assessment for uh, an activity like handling of acid fumes on something. So in the situation, I have the like risk like environmental I have and also the safety wise also I had. So in that case, I need to create a tool risks under environment and safety.
Yeah, so we have different scenarios, then you have to create different risk assessment only.
Okay.
Right now we don't have a common step over here, but if your
Hmm.
client wants a common step, that is also you can create. But like if you see over here, we have tried one environment on Monday, and we have seen
Yes.
this health, everything is same over here. So you can just create one custom scenario, custom this step over here in the create option, that this is related to environment or health together, then those can also be created together.
Okay.
Okay,
So that
that,
can we create in backend or
yeah, in backend. Then you have to do
okay.
some more customization, because hazards also you have to keep in that scenario only, that those will be applicable to your environment also, to your safety also. That is a huge customization, the not the technical part, but the functional only. You have to be very technically thorough about it, how the hazards will be kept and all those things,
Okay.
that you can
Because
do.
usually we conduct risk assessment based on the activity. So one activity may have
Based
different.
on activity also we can create one risk assessment, that I'll tell you right now.
Okay.
Okay, so we have seen environment and health. Safety is also same, the process is same over there also, the screen is also same. Okay, now we have one more, that is job hazard analysis. Whatever job we are doing in our organization, if we find that is risky, maybe handling of chemical or any other scenario that is also risky, then we are going to choose job hazard analysis for that. So in this, the process is same, only the data which we are going to fill is little different. Okay, if you see, the screen is same, only few fields are add on over here. Okay, So you will give the title same. That is job hazard analysis. And over here I have to select the job which I am doing and which is risky. For that I want to do the risk assessment. Okay, that job I will select. Now I am searching a job over here. Okay, so that should be there in the system. Something which I'm searching, as I told you, that either the data will come from other module or data will come from your EHS itself. So these are the data which are related to EHS. So you have to prepare in the system. That will see. Okay, so this is the job which my organization is doing right now, and I think that these are some risky job on which I have to do the risk assessment. Maybe hot work, and at which location I'm doing, that location I have to select, and the operational status. What is the why I'm doing it, like emergency or whatever it is. And if there is any observed person, that person name you can mention. Now if you see the start sign over here, everywhere wherever it is, you have to enter these information. You cannot skip it. This I can skip it. Other information are same as your environment. Only these three information, these four information are little different over here, and you cannot skip those. Okay, if there are any reason, that also you can add it. If there are any regulation, that also you can add it. Same way, the moment we save, one ID will be generated. Now if there are any other locations also apart from this, that same activity is going on in different branches, then you can add those locations over here also. You don't have to create for each and every location. You can add multiple locations in this section. Okay, document and task are same. Risk is empty right now. We have to create one scenario for the risk. Now same way, we'll go to the process, identify risk app, which is the second step, where we are going to identify our risk for the locations. Now as we have seen so many errors, for this also I'll show you some errors. Okay, I'll select this one, this location. Now whenever you are creating risk for job hazard analysis, the process is little different over here. For example, earlier what we were doing, we were selecting the location and we were clicking on create directly. Now one add-on step is here. You have to click on this three dot and you will see a button over here, identify risk for job. Now this is only for job, when job hazard analysis. You have to specify the job you are working on. Maybe I'll select this. Okay. Click enter. This is my job step. And now I'll click on create. First step I have added. This is the add-on step, which we were not doing in the normal scenario. Now click on create. The same panel will appear. You will see over here the location, job, job step. Now you'll select the hazard, how this particular job is affecting your whatever hazard it is. Okay, now save it. Same process, nothing is different over here. Risk level, that is your initial risk. The moment you have created, you won't be able to edit it again because these are available over here now. If there are any controls, you will select it, otherwise skip as if now. And the impacts. Now this is how you are going to create risk for job hazard analysis. Now can I assign this or I will get error? And if yes, then what will be the error? Definitely I will get one error or one or two. What can be the errors? This is my risk assessment for job hazard analysis, and this is my risk. Any guesses?
You created risk for hot work, right?
Yes, that is the one. And so I have selected tile setter. That is wrong. So let's try once. So I'll assign it to my job hazard analysis. So, okay. So whenever it is opened somewhere, then you will get an error message like this. So just close your tab and then try it again. Okay, so system is saying that the matching job is not there in the risk. Means I have selected some different job, and in the risk assessment I am selecting some different job. So that's why I'm getting the error. So let's try one new scenario for the same job. That was hot work. Okay, let me just refresh it. Okay, same way I'll mention this. No data. Okay, now can I assign? I have selected correct job over here.
Yes.
Yes. No. So what will happen? Matching location. I have selected some different location, and over here in the risk assessment I've selected some different location, that is I guess new land, right? So I've selected GK group. That is
Yeah.
wrong. So this is the
Okay.
error you will get. Okay, second error. Now let's select. I hope I have selected new line only. Okay, let's try again. Go to identify risk. Again, I'll select the same job. Location and job should be same, which I have mentioned. Okay. Um, okay. Okay. Now, if I assign this, can I assign it or I will get one error message?
You can assign.
No.
Uh,
So I'll get error related to operational status. So when I was creating, I told you that these are the three things which are mandatory and which needs to be maintained in your job hazard analysis. Those three things needs to be matched with your risk. These three things, these three fields. If these are different from your risk, then system will not allow you to maintain the data, to assign, to link your risk to your risk assessment. Okay, so these kind of errors you will face, so you have to make sure that you are selecting the correct data. Okay, now final will create. Okay, I'll use this only, same location. Okay, hazard, I can select anything. And emergency, because this I have selected while creating my assessment. Okay. Now assign it. Now system will allow me to assign this risk. Clear what all errors we can get and what all things we need to keep in mind. Any doubt?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, now we'll go to job hazard analysis and you can see the risk which we have assigned over here. Same way, the process is same, only the inherent risk you won't be calculating in your job. Okay, job hazard analysis, the steps will be less, one step will be less over here. Okay, the process and the initial risk is low, otherwise everything is same way. You'll add the existing control, initial risk, you'll complete the risk metrics by maintaining the likelihood and severity data. Like this you will complete, and in the end you will go for the process, approval process. Once that is completed, you can mark it as completed. So this is something which your end users are going to do. Now we have so many data over here which we have seen. There are so many data, more data I would say from incident, which we have to maintain, otherwise our process will not complete. Okay, that we are going to understand tomorrow, how those data are maintained. Because as a functional you have to focus over there, those are your master data which your client will tell you and you have to maintain in the system, otherwise the process will not work. Like we have jobs, we have locations we have already seen how to create it, we have operational status and some more data in the risk also. So I would like to request you, please complete this practical part first. So we are using only these three apps and the my inbox for approval. Okay. So try to create the risk assessment, link your risk with your assessment and complete the assessment steps. So try for either environment and the job hazard analysis. Job hazard analysis will only be used for your activity, whatever activity you are doing in your organization. Okay, and try to create multiple risk and see if you are trying to close it, what all errors you are getting. So this is the end user part which we have completed, the practical part which not as a functional, not as a end users you will do. I hope this is similar to your core, nothing is different over here, right?
Yes.
Fine, if you have any questions you can ask.
If we want, can we change the metrics?
Yes, but you have to be very thorough, like how you can change it. You can change it in the backend everything is possible. What we are doing over here, we are just maintaining the numbers. Likelihood are 5 numbers and severity are 5. We can change it.
You mean the total 5 by 5 metrics can be changed?
Yes.
Okay.
So like likelihood is right now 5 and severity is 5. So I can
Yeah.
give a likelihood sixth one also. But for sixth one, I have to define what will be the severity in the fifth column. So that you have
Okay.
to see how technically you are strong in that you can do in the back end.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other doubt? Anything you want to ask? If no, session. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.